too fast. Hi guys, I'm Andreas Bakkerud. I'm a professional rallycross driver in the FIA World Rallycross Championship. I'm here today to test out the brand new Simucube 2 direct drive steering system. I've already done half an hour in the sim and I'm very impressed by the first feel of it. So my first impression was that the force feedback is very good on tarmac and gravel. I just came back home from Belgium, so I already have it in my body. Driving on gravel, you have this easy steering wheel where you feel the bumps and the slippiness of the tires. We in rallycross, we drive with slicks on gravel, so there's a lot of wheel spin and you immediately feel it in your steering wheel whenever you don't have so much grip. Also breaking into tarmac, you have a lot of pressure to the tires and it impacts the steering wheel a lot. It's all about being awake in the start, you know? So today we have tested 3 different types of settings: damping, friction and strength. We have managed to find 2 very good setups, both very similar to another. I think my personal favorite is what we left on the machine right now. As we know, rallycross is 2 different platforms. It's tarmac and gravel, so it's always hard to find the small details in the big picture. So I'm extremely happy where we're going, and I'm also pretty stoked on the brand new system. So now I've had a few runs in the rallycross car. I'm gonna jump into a racing car, a GT3 Porsche, changing from a rallycross type of steering wheel to a racing type of steering wheel. It is a pretty simple change. You just pull out the pin on the side of the steering wheel, slide up the steering, then mount on the new steering wheel, which is the racing one, slide it back in, put the joint in, and you're ready to go. I expect the steering to be heavier. I expect more force feedback. This because of in rallycross you have a smaller wheel, less grip, less downforce. Now in racing you have a wider tire, more grip, more downforce. Should be able to have more feedback in the steering. All the bumps is very real. That's very impressive. So when I cut a curb, I feel immediately what happens with the car and what happens with the steering. For example, this track, the GP track here at Nürburgring, have pretty high curbs, and when I cut it, I directly get a big feeling to the steering. Also, when I brake over small bumps and crests, you can feel it immediately that it's giving me the feedback I want. So I have never driven NASCAR, I have no experience with it, but it's gonna be fun. I'm not sure if I'm fast or slow, or if I should be all the way up in the bank or all the way down. Bam. So now we tried NASCAR, and I do think in NASCAR it's all about precision, using the tire all the time. You know, the first couple of laps in NASCAR, I think you have cold tires and all of a sudden it grips up, and then you need to kind of keep the tires inside its range and balance it with the steering wheel. So I definitely think the steering gave me the input I wanted to understand where I had the car at all times, especially in the big banks, allowing the car to slide a little bit and then use the grip when I got it to also understeer a little bit, so I could balance the grip and use the front tires as much as the rear tires. It was a pretty spectacular feeling, so I'm impressed. I've tested the Simucube 2 today and I'm absolutely amazed over its precision on especially surfaces with some bumps, with feedback. When you cut a curb, what does that give you on the steering wheel? It gives you directly an input and you need to react to it. It gives you an advantage over everybody else to get more feedback in the steering wheel, and you can use that as a tool to go faster. As a race car driver, you need to use the tool in your own toolbox. What you see and what you feel. Let's say when I tried NASCAR for the very first time, I tried to do different lines. I saw the rubber in the middle, but I also wanted to try to go all the way up in the banking, where it was a little bit slippery, which I got from the steering wheel that it was probably more rubber and less grip. Then I went back on where the grip is and also the rubber was, and I can instantly feel that the steering gave me different answers. I felt immediately that the grip came and I could balance the car in a nicer way. We played a lot around with the steering strength on the GT3 car. I immediately felt that the rallycross settings we had was pretty good from the damping and friction wise. So we played with the strength, and I think this is up to every individual person to adjust themselves. I like something, you maybe like something else. We went a bit harder and more strength in the steering, and for me it gave me more precision in my driving. Growing up in the sim racing era of time, I can see sim racing is developing every year much and much higher when it comes to performance on and off the track. You can see kind of like, for me, I did a DTM test last year as a preparation to the test. I went to Germany and I went in a very good simulator where I got to learn the track, the braking lines, the gears, the setup of the car, and I could really use that tool to be much more prepared for the test itself. And all I learned on the sim I used on the track. So instead of coming to the racetrack knowing nothing, I knew 80% what to do.